All right. First of all, I just want to say our thoughts and prayers are with Tony Elliott and the football team at University of Virginia, and everyone in that community. That's a senseless act that is heartbreaking. To have kids understand it's just heartbreaking. So our thoughts and prayers go out to them. Headed back home for the first time in 2 weeks. We're excited to get back here to honor 28 seniors who will finish their last game here at Kid Brewer Stadium at The Rock. It has a record of 48-15 since 2018. So we had to turn the page. We're not where we want to be. We're 5-5 at the time. We have 2 more opportunities to play. And our kids had a great effort. They came in on Sunday, and they're excited to be here. And that's good to see. Again, our kids are still in the fight, and we have a great way to honor those guys from a packed-out stadium here on Saturday.
David Ware, 24/7 Sports. Sean, after you guys went back and looked at the film, what were maybe some of the milestone takeaways?
Well, it's been the same theme here for the last 2 or 3 weeks is third downs. And that's on offense and defense. And we talked about they had a very good, solid defense. They were a bunch of older guys on their team. And I think they're ranked 3rd in the country in total defense, totally. But we were in 3rd and long way too many times. And most of those times where our average was 3rd and 8+. And we can't be successful when we're in that situation. And on defense, the same thing. The first drive, they hit 3 3rd and 10+ to continue the drive, and that's been our Achilles heel. We didn't have enough explosive plays on offense. We gave up way too many on defense. I thought our defense settled into the second half and gave us an opportunity to win the football game. Down there for a 2-minute drill, we weren't able to be successful on offense. So that's been our Achilles heel. And on special teams, we have a punt blocked on special teams. They overload one side, we check it, and again, we stepped one step too far to the right, our punter, and got blocked, and then. But we flipped the page, and Milan had a kickoff return for a touchdown. So our kids are playing hard, giving everything they got, and we're excited to get back with them on Tuesday to practice.
So I want to ask you about 3 particular plays in the game, and I'll just run through them chronologically as they occurred. You've got them pinned back inside their 20. You got the 3rd and 18, and they hit the big screen pass. Looked like that was kind of an all-out blitz that came on that call. Just given the field position, I know you wanted to get the ball out of Fancher's hands as quickly as you could, but kind of left you undermanned out on the perimeter. What was the thought on the blitz call?
Just one of those calls. It's 3rd and 18. If we had that call back, we'd probably change it differently. We called it aggressively, and that happened. But again, I'd like to have that call back. I'm sure our whole team, our whole staff like to have it back. But we get to live with that.
You mentioned the block punt. Kind of what triggered there was a lot of movement going on pre-snap. Right. Was it them moving that made you guys adjust, or the other way around?
No, it was their look. Again, that was an overload side to one side, which means we had to move the punter over to give us a longer edge. When we moved, they moved. So we went back to our original call. And, again, we had the same punt block they ran previous in the game. And we had it squared away, and we had the right call on, and we were able to be successful. So it's something we have seen in practice. We practiced that look several times in practice, but it was just poor execution.
The last play was the 4th and 1 when you guys were down in the red zone in the 4th. You had a couple of 1-yard conversions in the game earlier, one on Chop's touchdown to end the first half, and then Nate had one on that same drive that ended inside the red zone. When you were faced with that last 4th and 1, what made it more advantageous in everyone's mind to go outside with that read option as opposed to going back to what had worked earlier?
Well, that was first of all, the guy on the 55 made a really good play on defense. He was able to take the dive away and give Chase a pull read, and when he pulled it, he was able to come back and be inside out on Chase. But again, we thought that was the best play we had at the time. It could be an explosive play. And I know we needed 1 yard, but we felt as a staff that was the play we needed to do, and it was not successful. Again, we want to have a run-pass option in that situation, and the kid made a great play.
Both Nick Hampton and Cam Peoples came out of that game early. Of course, Trey Cobb didn't play. Can you give us as much of an update as you have at this point on those 3 guys?
Yeah, Trey Cobb is out for the season. He had shoulder surgery last Tuesday. He is done for the season. Nick Hampton will be day-to-day. I know he came in and saw the doctors yesterday morning. Wasn't as bad as we thought, but again, that time will tell with that. And Cam, we have not got an update on Cam yet. They did several tests, and we're still waiting back on the prognosis or diagnosis. But again, I'm not sure if – I know Trey won't be here. Nick and Cam will be a game-time decision.
Chris Womack, WLOS. When you have a program as successful as Apps over the years, I think fans take bowl eligibility for granted. How special would it be for this team this year to get to go to a bowl game, considering all the adversity and everything?
Well, it'd be very advantageous for us to go to a bowl game, and our goals here is to win championships. And we're out of the conference race right now, but again, we have to finish strong, and that goes with Old Dominion right now. We have a very passionate fan base. There's no one invested in this program or cares more about this program than Sean Clark. Maybe some as much as I do, but not as more than I do. And again, I take this job seriously. This is my livelihood. This is a place I love, and I want us to be successful. And for several reasons, several factors, we're not right now. We're 5-5, but again, our players are doing everything we ask them to do. And that's why I look forward to getting back out on Tuesday to practice with those guys and put a great game plan together for our guys to be successful versus Old Dominion.
How difficult is it to get the team to adjust to new goals as conference title falls off the table, division title falls off the table? How tough is it to get them to refocus on the new goals?
It's tough when you don't play for a championship here, and those are our goals going to this year, every single year, to win a championship. But our kids are resilient, and they understand that we, not them, not we as a group, didn't get it done thus far. And we're sitting here at 5-5, have a chance to get the bowl eligibility, and we can do that. We have the right kids in that locker room that love this program and do it for all the right reasons. And again, those opportunities are in front of us right now, and I have full confidence in our players to get it accomplished.
With senior day, you look at the group of guys you're going to be honoring. I think there's about 30 of them, according to the notes. Just as a group, what has this senior class meant to App State?
It was a fantastic class. I was able to be here in 2018 when those kids were recruited, and the list goes on and on. You can talk about Nick Hampton, you can talk about Cooper Hodges, Cam Peoples, Trey Cobb, all these great players that have won a lot of football games here and really invested their whole lives for the last 5-6 years in this program. And just a way to honor those guys one last time here at the Rock. It's going to be special. I hope that all of App Nation comes out to show their support for those players. They've given a lot to this program, a lot to this university.
And then finally, as you look at your opponent, what kind of stands out about them?
A very good program. They kind of started like we did early, had a big win versus Virginia Tech, and through injuries, they've had some injuries this season. And again, I think Coach does a great job with their offense, really spreading the football around, kind of takes what you give them and puts the defense in a bind. And then on defense, they're playing at a high level right now. They really are. They have great players. Number 7 is a fantastic player. They're playing with speed. They go to man coverage, they'll play some zone, mix some things up for you. So we have a challenge this week. And again, our kids came back here with the right mindset to come back here and to get a win. Our goal is to go 1-0 this week.
Coach David Jackson, 6 one-possession games this year. You're 2-4 in those games. I know that historically App State's always had the rabbit's foot in their pocket. What's dislodged it this year? What's the fine line between 2 wins and 4 losses?
Well, it goes back on, in my opinion, it's third down conversions. If you look back last year, we were able to convert on those third and fourth downs and continue drives. You mentioned those games. We lost to Coastal by 7 and lost to Marshall by 7. And last year, we were able to win by 1 and win by 3. So they've always been great football games. We were able to come up on the other end of the spectrum with a win last year, and we haven't this year. Again, it's frustrating. I know it's everyone outside of this building is frustrated like we are, but our kids will continue to fight and give us a chance to win in the end.
You look back at some of the unique plays in those games, and it seems like it's a guy that gets to the quarterback a half second too late. It's a half yard short. It's whatever it is. From a coaching perspective at this time of year, how do you coach the extra half inch, the extra play? How do you instill in those guys that they're close, but obviously results are not giving them what they want?
I think first of all, you show them on tape. And that, listen, if we can just do this or finish your block one more half a second, if you can run it back and see the hole and put his foot in the ground and go north, our receiver can make a catch. If our corners can be a little bit more tighter in coverage, or if we have a gang tackling instead of a solo tackle, those are all things that help. And again, that's no blame. I'm not blaming the players. I'm not blaming anyone. But that's that's what it is right now. Again, we're coming up a little bit short right now, but that has nothing to do with the effort they have in the football field. I think our kids are excited to play every single week, but again, sometimes you just have to make a play, and you can coach it up all you want to. We have to make plays. We have to coach better, and we know that. We have to put our kids in a position to be more successful, and that starts with myself and the coordinators and position coaches.
Is that a harder message to give your team at this time of year compared to weeks 1 and 2, and you've got the balance of the season to make those adjustments? But when you're up against it for bowl eligibility and you're trying to get those things refined, how do you tweak the message to make sure that it's still uplifting, but it also gets the point across?
I think if we didn't have the right kids in that locker room, it would be a problem. But we have the right men in that locker room to be successful. They're workers. They come to work every single day, do everything we ask them to do. We had a great conversation at our team meeting yesterday. And it's about everyone in this building believing in one another. Sometimes in tough times, things can get away. But I told our men yesterday, I said, tough times don't last, tough people do. And we're in a tough predicament right now. We've been 5-5 since 2015. I believe this is the last time we were 5-5, and we're going to find what we have in the locker room, what kind of men we have. And I know we have the right men to be successful. And it hasn't went our way this year. Some people might say it's an excuse, but it is what it is right now, and we have to find a way to be more successful. And I think it starts with myself, the coaches, to put our players in a better position to be successful.
Kind of a silver lining of this, do you look for players maybe outside of some of the headline guys to start to step up and not only help you prove these last 2 weeks, but this seems like an awfully nice time to show out for next year's spring ball and projecting into 2024?
We're going to play every single player that gives us the best chance to win a football game. And if that's a different lineman, different defensive lineman, different corner, then we'll do that. But I'm not looking ahead right now to next spring or next season. I'm looking ahead to Old Dominion, and that's the most important game on our schedule, and we're going to do everything we can to be successful.
Last question for me, a little different on the senior day. You got 28 of these guys, and every senior class has a little different story. What is this group's story?
Great question. I think it's adversity, overcoming things. I mean, you come here in 2018, and we were 12-1. In 2019, we were 13-2, I believe. Was it 13-1? And then we have 2020's COVID, and we weren't sure if we were going to play football that year, and those guys were resilient in that situation. And in 2021, we're 10-2 in the regular season, have 2 tough losses at the end, and then they came out and started the season off really fast, and had one of the biggest wins in program history at A&M, and have a chance to win the Miracle on the Mountain Part 2. So just the kind of men that they are and what they represent, their families, is what we're trying to get to celebrate this week as we move forward. But very proud of these guys that gave their all for Appalachian State.
Just 2 from me. As you look at ODU's offense, they've passed the ball pretty effectively all year, and then they had that big running game against Coastal Carolina. What stands out to you when you watch them offensively? Well,
their quarterback first. I know that he can really throw the football. He can run when he has to be successful, but he really spreads the football around. They have a big tight end / receiver that gives you the mismatches. They have a really good receiver on the outside. So, but again, if you just prepare for one thing, it'll beat you the run game. You go back and watch the Coastal game. They run the counter play a million different ways in order to be successful and kind of really keep Coastal's offense off the field. But again, a lot of playmakers out there, a very solid offensive line, and we'll have to do all we can to be successful on Saturday.
And just to wrap up, what stands out as some strengths that they do well defensively?
A lot of team speed on defense. Give you different coverages. They'll play some man coverage, some zone coverage, but they like to heat up the quarterback in third down situations. We have to have very clean eyes up front, get our right checks, our blitz protection squared away. And again, it's a very solid program. They're not a 3-7 football team. I know that's what their record shows, but they have a lot of players and a lot of pride in that team.